Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you are watching us for the first time. Click the notification bell to allow YouTube to recommend to you our videos. You can also like our videos and share them. To all those who support us in one way or the other, I want to say thank you in a very special way. By the way, I've realized that people are now watching our videos for long and they are sharing them. I don't take it for granted. Again, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the ghost of Eurobond has resurfaced and it is giving William Ruto sleepless nights. The story of Eurobond needs no gainsaying because it is William Ruto himself and the entire Kenya Kwanza brigade that has made it a big issue. When you go to the Business Daily, there is a headline there that Kenya makes a U-turn on early 47 billion Kenya shillings Eurobond payment. And it is being discussed. If you go to the social media, financial experts are really trying to scrutinize what exactly has happened, why Kenya is making a U-turn, because it was an assurance from President William Ruto himself with a lot of authority that by the end of this year, we are in December and we have just a few days, we are on 28th, we just maybe 2-3 days to the end of the year. Now he's defaulting or is making a U-turn on a promise that he gave the nation on live TV. So I want us to look at three aspects why the story of Eurobond is one that is unique and one that has really exposed William Samoei Ruto. Because one would be asking, so what? They have made a U-turn, so why is it making headlines? That is exactly what I want us to answer. Why the story of Eurobond is unique and why it makes headlines is because, one, William Ruto and the entire Kenya Kwanza brigade have always blamed Uhuru Kenyatta, and they have lined up Eurobond as part of Uhuru's mess, part of Uhuru's financial mistakes that they say he made while he was in power. You know, they have continued to blame Uhuru Kenyatta for every predicament that we are going through, whether it is social or political and especially economic problems they say emanated from Uhuru Kenyatta. But people have gone back to the archives and they have retrieved evidences that William Ruto was not only part and parcel of the arrangement of Eurobond when they were working together with Uhuru Kenyatta, but he defended this Eurobond with eloquence and arrogance.
The issue about Eurobond money being stolen, my friend, is utter nonsense.
Who is supposed to decide whether it is nonsense or whether it's real? Is it you or is it the investigative agencies?
Let me tell you, you know, there are some things that are beyond even believability. You sincerely think, Hussein, the government of Kenya can collude with the government of the United States to steal public money from Kenya? You should really?
Okay, I'll give an example. On this Eurobond, when this issue came up, and you talked about it and we've talked about it before, the Cabinet Secretary Treasury, Henry Rotich, promised a blow-by-blow account on how this money was spent. He did an about turn. He never did it.
He asked the former Prime Minister to go to his office.
But he promised. He promised even journalists.
The former Prime Minister never went.
But he promised journalists he's going to do it. But he
what questions have been asked to Henry Rotich and he has not answered?
That is one. That is one which he promised and he did an about turn.
What questions? To the best of my knowledge, even if you went and Googled, forget about even talking to Rotich, and Googled today on matters to do with Eurobond, you will find the explanation from the Minister, from Treasury, online. Forget about even looking for anybody.
Okay, but he did not. That's the point. He promised and he did not.
What do you mean he did not?
He did not. He said he'll give a blow.
If he has given, I have a copy of what was posted on the website, answering every question.
Okay, again.
Tunakopa kama tumepima vizuri ya kwamba hizi pesa zitatumika kujenga reli, kujenga barabara, kuweka damu kama hii tunataka kujenga hapa Karimenu, kuhakikisha kwamba watoto wetu wanasoma, stima imeunganisha na pia tumepima ya kwamba tuko na uwezo wa kulipa, na inasemekana ya kwamba kuna ofisi ambayo itakuwa tayari.
Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, recently when William Ruto was addressing the state of the nations and he combined the two houses, that is the National Assembly and the Senate, William Ruto, without blinking, looked at Kenyans and assured them that he was ready to pay part of this Eurobond loan by the end of this year to ease the nation from the financial burden as we cross over to the year 2024.
The situation have yielded such progress that next month, in December, we will be able to settle the first Kenya shillings $300 million or 500 billion Kenya shillings installment of the US dollars 2 billion Eurobond debt that falls due next year. I can now confirm with confidence that we will and we shall pay the debt that has become a source of much concern to citizens, markets, and our partners.
And while he made those statements with a lot of eloquence as always, experts thought that maybe he has discussed this with the relevant financial institutions like the Central Bank of Kenya, and maybe they had had a discussion with the governor of the central bank. Experts also thought that maybe they had had a discussion with the cabinet secretary in the Ministry of Finance, because for a president to address a nation, it is a special occasion, a day that should not be taken for granted. And every utterance that you make on a day such as that must be taken with a lot of seriousness, because many Kenyans left their duties and they were listening to him. And of course, we are now being told that Kenya is making a U-turn after he had made such an assurance. It reminds me of the reports that came on that day that many Kenyans decided to watch some European football matches because they did not want to listen to what they have always known will be a fallacy. Because look at it. While he was making those statements, people were clapping for him, yet he was not serious about it. So that makes it unique. Number three, recently there were reports that 3 African nations have now defaulted, and that was it was reported that Ethiopia defaults on 1 billion Eurobond after failing to make $33 million interest payment, and they now join Zambia and Ghana on African defaulters list. When this report came out that now it was Ethiopia, Zambia and Ghana, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade went to the social media shouting on top of their voices that, you see, William Ruto is doing a good job, we are ready to pay, we are ready to pay part and parcel of this Eurobond by December, before the end of this year. And I want us to look at, this was Millicent Omanga after the reports that these 3 African nations are defaulted. And she was saying, when we tell you that President William Ruto saved our country, you should listen and stop arguing with the truth, facts and reality. You can repeat after me. So that was Millicent Omanga, because it was reported that other 3 nations had defaulted. So they were ready. They were saying William Ruto is the man. Boni Halwale said this: congratulations President William Ruto for holding Kenya steady. And this was in relation to the fact that William Ruto had promised that before the end of this year, or by the end of this year, he was going to pay that money. Where do they put their heads? This kind of bootlicking, this kind of failure to check the government. When we elect our parliamentarians, we expect that they are not going to rubber stamp and ratify what the executive wants, but rather they are going to work as they put the interest of the electorates at the heart. But look at the kind of things that are happening. Now, one person who really nailed it is one of the Kenya Kwanza bloggers called Lady Bianca. Bianca is a staunch supporter, a very good Kenya Kwanza adherent and a supporter. She said, President William Ruto said in his State of the Nation address that Kenya will be making its first installment of Kenya shillings 304 billion Eurobond in the sum of 47 billion. Today, Business Daily is reporting that the government has made a U-turn and will not be paying on December 31st, 2023, as promised by the president. As usual, we Kenya Kwanza supporters have been left with a rotten egg on our faces. How do you support and defend this government while still maintaining your sanity? We are more defensive than offensive, and that's how we have been losing the battle. That is Bianca. Bianca has been supporting, and she's still supporting the government. But I like her by the fact that sometimes she sees the light and will always speak the truth. When you look at the whole of this, because I was painting for you a picture of what is happening, ladies and gentlemen, we can safely conclude that we have a government, a president that does not care about tomorrow when he's making promises. As long as whatever he says will give him an advantage when he's campaigning, as long as he wants to get away or get out of a situation, he will lie to you. He lied that he was not part and parcel of the Eurobond arrangement. Clips and videos betray him. He promised the nation that he was going to pay. Again, he has been exposed. And I know they will be giving a lot of explanation and financial jargons, but the truth is, we have failed to honor the promise. Whenever Kenyans sit down to listen to a president, it must be a special day. And when you utter, some statements, then you later negate them very cheaply, people will never take the president seriously. That is it. You cannot sit down and listen to a president. You brag about it, like the Kenya Kwanza did, like Bianca is saying, they were all over the moon with joy that President Ruto is on the steering wheel. Now look at what is happening. We have a dishonest president. I've said here over and over again that the level of trust between the citizens and the government is totally broken. We don't trust the government because they are never honest, they never tell us the truth. We can also safely conclude that we have a government, a president who does not consult with the relevant institutions, or rather, he will simply micromanage and say whatever he wants. The other day when the governor of Central Bank and the CS in the Ministry of Finance said that we are in a financial crisis, very soon we will not even be able to pay our employees, civil servants. The president said everything's on course. The government is on track. Look at what is happening. Did he consult them before he made the announcement that we are going to pay partial payment before the end of the year? We have seen him travel outside the country telling us that he's looking for domestic work for our ladies around. And we wonder, don't we have ambassadors and a minister in that docket and an ambassador in such countries that should be left to do such jobs? And this is why I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't have a government, if you ask me. Our government is being run casually with a lot of fallacious stories and promises and blame games. And we cannot head anywhere with this kind of management. I don't know what to think, but that is my take.